Good morning. Welcome to Out of Spec Motoring. Today we are taking the Model 3 long-range rear-wheel drive with the two dogs, with my girlfriend Alyssa, all the way from here in Raleigh, North Carolina to Titusville, Florida. We are going to pick up her grandfather's Model 3 long-range rear-wheel drive from Tesla. He just is taking delivery tomorrow. Then we're going to see the Falcon Heavy launch, which should be good. We left the car charged up to 100% on one of the load shared wall connectors, so let's unplug and go. This is what the trip looks like. I think that should be good. Arriving at 12% at Santee. This is an older version 1 supercharger, so only 120 kilowatt max. But that's okay. I think we're in no rush this trip, so that looks pretty good. Blue, what are you doing? Waiting for Mom, I guess. We're not even 11 miles into our trip and it says we'll arrive at 5%. We must have been going faster than the trip planner had planned, but that's okay. There are tons of bailout options, so we're going to stick with the plan to Santee. Alright, we are here in Santee. Unfortunately, we have to share stalls because, share a cabinet because everything is taken. And there's an awesome Model 3 over here that has a creative way of supercharging. So, very nice. We're going to let the dogs run around in this big grassy field, but so far so good. We must not have picked the right one because we're getting 16 kilowatt. Oh, going up slowly. Someone must be pulling full power. We just switched stalls over to another one. Much better. When you activate dog mode and the air conditioning controls, it doesn't automatically turn on the rear air vents for the hot pups. So, gotta make sure that you do that. We're doing a long charge here to avoid the Savannah supercharger. That's kind of always a little bit cumbersome to get in and out of. So we're gonna go straight to Kingsland next. Actually, everyone here at the charger, they were all awesome. They've already piled out, but they're all heading to Kingsland, so we'll see all of them there. Super awesome people. And I think we'll just, we're in no rush, so charge to 90%, and then we'll arrive, according to the trip planner, with somewhere around 4 or 5%, which is totally fine. And I'm excited to get out of this supercharger because it is slow early on. Now it doesn't make a difference. Blue, are you happy? You happy? Thank you. Thank you. We're off to Kingsland. 8% projected. Totally good. Ready to rock? You good?
I'm good.
All right. You got your book?
Book.
All right. Let's go. We just plugged into the supercharger in Kingsland, Georgia. The pups are excited. We have a full house. Now, we took the last spot, but the guy next to us on 1A, we're on 1B, I looked at his screen, I zoomed in, and he was almost full, which is kind of weird, but let's see what we're getting. We should start ramping up here, I would hope. Come on, here we go. The cabinet must be a little bit overworked in this heat. I mean, literally everyone's fans goes down that way are running full blast. I just ran in to use the restroom. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, we're only pulling 66 kilowatts, so this is going to be a longer stop than we expected, but that's okay. We are in no rush. Let the dogs play, and the building in here is dog friendly, so we may let them out of the car and run around inside their building just to get them out and not in this heat. So what do you think about that?
I think it sounds like a plan.
Okay, cool. And as quickly as everyone was here, everyone is gone. It's really funny, we're towards the tail end, but you know, when you go up and down the East Coast, everyone sort of travels in packs because you have to stop at the same chargers. So we had the same party here that we had at Santee. Everyone was awesome. I know a couple guys are going to check out the video, so great meeting everyone. But we're just topping up for another 5 minutes or so. We're at 78%. Again, when I travel with the family, with the dogs, with Alyssa, I don't drive the way I would normally drive if it's just me. If it's me, I would stop more often for shorter periods of time and take advantage of the more faster part of the charging curve. But with the family, it's good to let the dogs run. We can relax and just let the car charge up. We're in no rush whatsoever, so this is just a little bit more of a relaxing way to get around. With that said, we have a little bit of a detour to go pick up some dog medicine on the way or something, about 20 minutes out of the way. So we're charging up more than we typically would. And then we are going to head to her grandparents' house in Titusville. Let's go. So for the third time in a row on this trip, the trip planner has estimated a significantly lower state of charge at arrival than what's predicted as we start moving. So it's definitely changed its algorithms as to what it's looking at. It may predict worst case scenario and then adjust as you get on the road. I actually thought the previous software worked really well for me. If it said I got there at 3% and I drove predictably, I would always get there somewhere around 3%. But right now, if for example, the last two stops, it said we would arrive at 12% then 5, but we actually arrived at 8. And then same thing here, it said we were going to arrive at 25% at our midway stop, but it's predicting over 30%. So just weird little things, and they're fine-tuning the software, it looks like. Good morning. It is 5:30 in the morning on Wednesday. Man, it's early. Anyway, we are heading back home to Raleigh now. We had a great time here, saw an amazing rocket launch. Alyssa's grandfather took delivery of his Model 3, and he is absolutely in love with it. Very cool. We have both cars charging right now. Our car is charged up to 100%. It's preconditioning. We have the back set up for the dogs. We're gonna, I think, make the stretch to Savannah, but let's take a look. It says we should get there at 5%. We'll find out when we get close to Kingsland if that's doable. That'll be our bailout option if we are tracking higher consumption than planning, but I think we should go right to Savannah. Come on, girl, load up. Everyone is sleeping right now, but our consumption is really high. We have a pretty big headwind that we're heading into, and I've been driving between 75 and 80. Our consumption's over 300 watt hour per mile, so I don't think Savannah's gonna happen. We'll just stop in Kingsland and then figure it out from there, so not a big issue. So we're here at Kingsland charging up, and Alyssa was in the car. It sounds like the contactors blew open and it stopped charging, right? Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, it's charging at 130 kilowatt. I had this issue in Raleigh last week where Tesla said that the connector lost communication with the car. Maybe that's it, or if this keeps happening, maybe it's not. Very weird, but we're charging, so all good. We're gonna charge up here and then go to Santee next. We're gonna try and skip Savannah. It's a version 1. It's in an airport. Not terrible, but not great for the dogs. Santee, the dogs can run around there. Yeah. So we just pulled into Santee, South Carolina supercharger. It's an old version 1 heavily used charger that's very unhealthy. We're pulling 107 kilowatts at 7%, so that's actually good. We don't have to share with anyone, which is very nice. There's only 2 cars here right now, but it's middle of the week, middle of the day. And not quite sure how long we'll be here for. If we charge near full, this could be our last stop. We can just head home. Or if we're done eating lunch and letting the dogs run beforehand, we'll just stop at another supercharger for 5 minutes to top up during peak charging curve. And that's about it. Let's go let the dogs run around in this big field. They love this place. Okay, we've unplugged at 83%. It says we'll get home at 5%, which just seems to be an estimate on the trip planner, and then it adjusts as you get closer. But we just didn't want to wait anymore. We finished everything. These guys are pooped out, so let's head home. Just a quick top up in Fayetteville on the way. We could have made it home if we drove like 50 or 60 miles per hour, but a 5-minute stop here will be plenty to just rip it home, and that's the quicker way to get around. So you were all right with that. The pups seem to be okay. And then we're going home.